So clearly, COVID has had an impact on OpenBox and our industry in general. I think the wider consideration is much more how that impacts our community, and our community being our clients, but also our wider community that we work and live and play in. So that has been a big focus for us, ensuring that our staff are safe and healthy. Fortunately, OpenBox has been able to work throughout the lockdown, and we have a pedigree of remote working. We've delivered to our clients for over 19 years in a remote fashion. So that has meant that we've actually been very well placed to continue that delivery to our clients, and we're very fortunate that we have a lot of good international, in that they're in the US and UK and other places around the world that have continued to need our services. So we've been pretty busy actually, and all in all, we can count ourselves very fortunate. So I think, like a lot of companies, the actual decision to work from home was quite a big one. It was one that we took quite early on in the process. We thought we'd rather get ahead of the curve, certainly not the COVID curve, but just the curve of being prepared. And so we made an early decision to have everybody working from home as a semi-optional, I would say, in that we requested strongly that everybody work from home. Pretty quickly that became a government mandated thing, and actually it's been fairly seamless for us. We're very fortunate that we've been doing a lot of business continuity planning tests, and programs have been put in place over the years. So a lot of it was actually putting in place and actioning those programs and those procedures to enable all of us to work from home. So it's actually been pretty seamless, and I think the feedback from our clients has been likewise. It's been a pretty good experience for our clients. Again, being able to work remotely is something we've been doing for most of our clients from the get-go. So that's made it easier. I think I still also want to acknowledge that for our team members, working from home isn't the easiest thing necessarily. It's been under, in some cases, extremely trying circumstances, and it's been an important focus for us to look what we can do to mitigate that as far as possible, again, within the realms of what one can do in these times. I think it is always going to be difficult to tell. I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the world today, and that continues through also affecting OpenBox. If I were to look at it, though, I think it's towards the end of the year that we'll be looking to be hiring again. I imagine it'll probably be through the graduate recruitment cycle in December, January. Which ends up sort of being people joining us probably more in January and February, after a little bit break, after some strenuous studies. So, yeah, I think that'll be probably very similar. That will be picking that up again towards the end of the year. This past January, we hired 14 graduates in January alone. And I think it's not unreasonable to expect a similar number in the coming year. So I think there will be the odd experienced hire here and there, but the bulk of our recruitment will really be kicking in, I imagine, towards the end of this year and the beginning of next year. Yes, so I would recommend reaching out, sending your CV and a little covering note to Nicole Stone, our head of talent. So her email address is nstone, for Nicole, and then stone @openboxsoftware.com. Yeah, if you reach out to her, she'll be the best person to receive that information and also ensure that we're in touch with you as hiring restarts again. I think also in this period, it's helpful for us to get to know you. And so sending that CV in and starting the conversation will be very helpful from both your side, getting comfortable with us, and from us to get comfortable with you. So our usual approach is that we want to be meeting every candidate in person, ideally on a number of occasions. In some instances, we do look to, in the past, have done it via Teams or a Skype call or something like that, where an individual is out of Cape Town and not able to get to Cape Town. Then we do go through that process. So it's a process that we're very familiar with. However, our preference is still meeting in person. Clearly, given the situation at the moment, we'll need to be monitoring that. And as I say, we'll be, where we can, we'll certainly be meeting in person and doing the assessments and so on in person. But if we can't still, then we'll be doing that most likely via Teams or Skype. I think it's important to recognize we hire for the projects and the client work that we're seeing. So that will depend on what areas we are seeing a growth in. And that particularly relates to the more experienced hires, because those are individuals with particular skill sets that we are looking to add and supplement our current team with and bolster areas where we are lacking in capacity. On the graduate side, it really is across the board, looking at developers, business analysts, QA, data analysts, and then project managers, although at the graduate level, we don't really hire into a project management role. It's more coming through the business analysis and QA streams. So it really is across the board at a graduate level, but for the more experienced hires, again, across those sort of broad brushstrokes, but as more experienced hires come in with specific expertise, clearly we'll be looking at those. So it will vary very much according to what demand is there. So I think, these are very uncertain times. These are very uncertain times for people looking for a job as well. For those of you that are looking at graduating at the end of this year, I think going into this job market, I'm sure there's a lot more uncertainty in yourselves than there have been for the years that have come before you. I would say that, the market you're going into, the industry you're going into, is still one of great strength, and you should draw a great deal of comfort from that. There are companies hiring, OpenBox will be one of them, and you're going to be in demand. So, look forward to the process. We look forward to meeting you, and yeah, very best of luck. Look forward to speaking to you.